Hi.
Thank you for joining me. I want to take a step back, and you did the junior associate program back in 2022. I'd
Yes.
love to hear your experience of the JA program we offer here, and then really how has the market changed since you first started?
I think I came in at a really unique time, and I was also coming into commercial real estate from a different career path before. So coming into the JA program, not fresh out of college, I think was a really unique perspective for me and an opportunity to hit the ground running and learn as much as possible in a relatively short amount of time.
Yeah,
So it was an incredible experience from my perspective, and I learned so much in the roughly 6 months that it took me to go through it.
yeah, I love that. And when you started as a JA, really, what was the Atlanta industrial market like then compared to now? Have you seen a big shift?
100%. That was a really unique time because it was, we were still at the tail end of the COVID throes and
Yep.
e-logistics boom and people ordering way more for distribution because it was taking so long on lead time to get here from overseas. So it was just a neat time and a
Yeah.
really unique time to come into the business
Yep.
because we were seeing a shift that had never happened before.
Right.
So obviously, cycles are cyclical and it has changed since 2022 a bit. It
Yeah.
has softened. And so it's been neat for me to see that shift also happen in
Yeah.
real time.
Yeah. And so, kind of diving into the stats of Q1 and where we are today, Atlanta's vacancy has been on the upward incline for quite some time, probably
Mhm.
since 22.
Yes.
But we actually are starting to see it decline. It had a very notable decline in Q1. It went from 9.1 to 8.6. Are you really feeling that on the ground as you're working deals? Does it feel like it's getting a little bit tighter?
It's an interesting market because Atlanta is so huge.
Yeah.
So we're at, almost 1 billion square feet.
Yeah.
And in my market, specifically in South Atlanta, is roughly 250 million of that. If we dial in even further into the airport where I typically focus, it's even denser. So we've seen over the last 2 quarters more of a kind of a stagnation
Yeah.
in vacancy. We're at, I think right now around 10.2%
Okay.
from last quarter. And I think we were at 10.1 the quarter before.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see the deal cycle and how in South Atlanta it might be different from what they're experiencing in the Northeast or the Northwest markets.
Right.
So it is neat to see, like, as a metro market with so much square footage, how each sub market can differ.
Yeah.
And we've seen more movement up in the north than we kind of have on the south side.
Yeah. And I know the South specifically experienced a ton of new inventory
Mhm.
the past few years. And speaking of development activity, for the past few quarters, it has been very low, historically low.
Mhm.
But in Q1 alone, we've seen the most groundbreaking of new product than I think we have in 3 to 5 years.
Mhm.
So that will give us some future new supply. But why do you think beginning of 2026 developers decided to kick off projects? Do you think they just felt the timing was right? Have they been holding off? They wanted to see that vacancy decline? Or do you think it's just part of the cycle, the natural cycle?
I think a little bit of both. I think in 2025, even the end of 2024 as well, we were seeing a lot of political instability
Hmm.
and the tariff issue. I think there was a lot of nervousness.
Yeah, uncertainty in the
I mean,
market.
globally, and
Yeah.
uncertainty, and so we, feel that all the way down here. And I think there was a lot of just hold off and wait, and either people just couldn't hold off any longer, or it felt more like the right time
Yeah.
to, because we had so much product deliver during COVID
Yes.
because there was just such a boom that
Yeah.
it's almost like we needed time for the market to catch up a little bit,
Absolutely.
and then let's deliver more
Yeah.
product.
Atlanta needed that reset, as we've
Yeah,
been seeing.
yeah.
Going into demand wise in Atlanta, absorption was off the charts to start the
Hmm.
year. It was over 6 million square feet. Now, of that, at least 3 million were 1 million square foot
Hmm.
occupancies. So, if you take out that, we're still around 3 million square feet, which is a lot. How is demand feeling, let's say in South Atlanta, in your submarket?
It's been, I will say, I feel like we say the same thing, kind of year over year. It feels like, oh, it's stagnant for a bit and then it picks up.
Yeah,
Obviously, it's all cyclical, like we've said, and
right.
we're going to see those ebbs and flows. it really does feel over the last 6 to 8 weeks
Yeah.
like there's been a significant uptick in activity
Okay.
that's actually translating into real deals.
Right.
It's not people poking around as much or just, oh, let me see what you guys are quoting or what y'all are quoting here. And I'm going
Yeah.
to compare it to my renewal,
Yep.
which obviously is part of the job. You want to do the best job you can for your client
Yep.
and get them the best deal and know the where the market rents are landing.
Yep.
But it feels like those deals are real now. And we're seeing things get inked,
Yeah.
which is very positive.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think the last thing I really wanted to hit, and you just led me up to that, were rents.
Mhm.
So over the course of 5, 6 years, rents have doubled almost across almost every submarket. We're not seeing these crazy jumps with rent quarter over quarter like we were maybe a year or two ago. When you're boots on the ground working deals, are landlords softening rents a little bit, maybe giving tenants more concessions? Like what's going on from your perspective working deals when it comes to rents?
It feels that rent growth has flattened a little bit on the
Yep.
south side. And because deal velocity isn't maybe what it is in the Northeast or Northwest, we are, I feel, giving more concessions
Yeah.
to try to keep the face rate around what we're quoting
Gotcha.
and giving more free rent or higher TI dollars or, just trying to get creative
Yeah.
to get the deal done. And of course, it depends on the ownership. Is it institutional? Is it a smaller ownership group? How did they underwrite the asset when they bought it?
Yeah.
We have to think about that and that all plays into the deal as well.
Yeah.
But it feels like everyone's getting very creative.
Okay. So, really, to close us out, are there any trends that you have been closely watching to start 2026 that may come into fruition the rest of the year?
I think the trend that we've been watching on the South Atlanta side for sure is it's interesting to see how even though freight is down, coming into the port and into the airport as well, that directly affects specifically the South Atlanta and airport tenants. So to see that even though freight is still down, we're seeing deals get done,
Yeah.
activity is still picking up. It feels very positive, and we're hoping to see that trend move forward through the rest of this year.
Yeah, I love that. Good positive energy to
Yeah,
end the year.
perfect.